Won't you hear my plea? I need somebody, yeah, to listen to me. I beg you, brothers and sisters, I'm counting on you, yeah. Black babies in the womb, shackled and bound, chained by the caveman who keeps beauty down, smacked on the ass when they're squalling and wet. Heir to a spineless man who never forgets.
Peace and love. Welcome, family. Welcome to the NEPPC podcast. And this is Mental Health Awareness Month. And it's ironic that Veronza Bowers is released after over 4 decades in prison and being denied parole numerous times. I'm Brother Frank, and I'm with former political prisoner.
And Duhad Islam.
And this is the NEPPC podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Please share with at least 10 people. And please make a donation. No amount is too small. No amount is too great. At Veronza Bowers GoFundMe account. He's going to need some support. Veronza Bowers has done the work for so long. While he was incarcerated, he wasn't absorbed in self-pity. He got deep into his meditation. And, he helped a number of inmates dealing with their situation. I know for me, Veronza Bowers had contributed to the work at Queensbridge. We have a weekly grievance support group. We actually had a campaign, a writing workshop, and we wrote to Veronza. He wrote us back. He gave us some points to bring up for our weekly meetings, and we utilized that every time we met. So we were all happy about him being released. We're going to definitely talk about that tomorrow. And we just want to say, welcome home, brother. I know that you said it's going to be some time before you come and talk to people, but we respect your time. We respect your privacy. Mm-hmm. So today's lesson, this is Mental Health Awareness Month. Veronza Bowers home. All those things will really let you know that as long as you fight, you will have victories. But if you don't fight, you won't have no victories. So what's your thoughts about mental health, its origins, and Veronza Bowers coming home?
Yeah, much, brother. We welcome Veronza home. His is a spirit that we need among us, a spirit that needs to be free. A very, very great example for our people, through the trials and the struggles that we have. He successfully dealt with very, very difficult periods of time, many, many years in prison, 47. I just imagine being in jail 47 years. I've seen people who are going home in 15 minutes, they got to put them on a suicide watch, and that's just in lockup, at the beginning of the situation. So 47 years, that ain't no joke. So, we are people who have difficulties in life, and Veronza gave us a pattern, a map, of which way to travel to success in our lives. Similar to when we had Abu Jamal, he told the truth about what was happening in our society, in the world. And, one thing he dealt with was pain, how to deal with the pain in your life. Being incarcerated is a very, very painful situation. So he focused on the world, his love of people in the world. And he was brought up in a household that had much hope for the future, which taught him a struggle. He was surrounded by women in his early life, and he was filled with the impulse, and the urge to struggle, to struggle with hope in life, and this is what he taught me. His therapy, was to love the people, to understand that we can win, that we are very, very powerful people. People are beautiful, and when you listen to his music is therapy itself. Music, very, very soothing tones. You relax and you chill out. And the title of his album is "Peace in the Chaos." So in the chaos in life, you chill. You have positive thoughts. And you have a positive view of the future. And you concentrate on self-development. And through prison, the time in prison, this is what prisoners often do. They think about their lives. They think about what the self-improvement they need to go through, development of character, development of strength, being hopeful of come out of their struggles. And, this is very, very valuable in our life, in a situation, we are in a world of chaos and conflict. We have a history, I was going through the history of the various massacres and oppressions that took place in our history. Black people being burned alive for almost no reason at all. Being beaten to death. Us being told we're nothing, we're less than human. That somebody else is superior to us. We must aspire to be like them. All these type of insane, destroying ideas that attack our brain every day. So we must have some leadership, some type of a therapeutic approach to that. So Veronza saw the necessary, his method was through the music, the soothing tones of the music, and the message that came with it. Veronza was sentenced for something he didn't even do.
Absolutely. And what I wanted to do, and attempt in any way, and you can correct me where I make errors, but the relationship that our mental health status has with our oppression and our exploitation, right? And that's what why we should understand the importance of our freedom fighters and the struggle for liberation, right? We have to control what type of food we're going to have. We're going to have to control what type of resources we have, and we can only control that by having power. So when we talk about mental health, we got to talk about the social conditions, and we got to talk about the need for us to be empowered, the need for us to have those resources that are necessary for us to be able to deal with our mental health issues better. And I think that when we start listening to Veronza Bowers' music and understanding what his position is, and understanding his ability to remain calm. Just imagine being denied parole again and again a number of times and being incarcerated for something you have not done for decades, right? Any person is going to be frustrated, is going to want to voice aggressively, but yet he still had that calm demeanor. So I just thought that was very important that we understand that there's a relationship between our social conditions and our mental health issues. And once we start understanding that clearly, then we understand the importance of fighting back. We understand the importance of not letting our political prisoners die in prison. We understand the importance of making sure our martyrs are not forgotten, and doing this not only in theory but in practice, right? Because theory without practice is meaningless, right? We have to make the connection between the two, and we got to make sure that is known to our people in our community, wherever we're at, because those are the people that we need to win over to our ideas. So I know you mentioned Frantz Fanon as we were in preparation. So, Frantz Fanon, let the people know about him and his approach to the whole issues of people's psyche regarding their oppression.
Well, as you mentioned a minute ago, the mental disorders, the origin of the mental disorders have a relationship to the oppression, being trampled upon, being disrespected, to told that you are nothing, to be physically assaulted, to be have someone else dominating over you, and for many of the people, the whole existence being to enrich some other people. So oftentimes, result of these very, very oppressive situations are mental disorders. That's the link. And Fanon's method, you understand, and addressing these things, similar to Veronza, was struggle, to fight against it. That we regain our mental stability, our mental health, through fighting, through standing up, and in this way, these issues are resolved. We get a feeling of self-worth, of dignity, of self-respect, of love of self, and so we appreciate these contributions, and it's very very helpful for us to study the words, of brothers like Frantz Fanon. Here's a book, one of the very well-known works called "The Wretched of the Earth." We have right here. Can y'all see that? "The Wretched of the Earth" by Frantz Fanon, very, very well known. And when I read that, it fills you full of hope. I read this when I was in prison, and when you're in prison, getting yourself together, correcting the past errors in your life, and then you read something like this, you spend hours instead of reading something like this, it gives you a feeling of strength, and in a situation, for example, in Veronza's situation, the parole board saw it like as a crime to be innocent. You go from the parole board and they want you to have remorse. And if you're innocent, how can you have remorse for something you didn't even do? So that's a dilemma, So there's situations like that, in which you got to be very, very strong, and the teachings and the leadership of brothers like Fanon and Veronza, give us that strength to carry on, put the struggle in us and the feeling in our hearts, the hope in our hearts, that what we're going to do is going to be successful, and this is what keeps the fight going on. You're going to win, so keep on fighting. Instead of getting hit upside the head by the world, and getting knocked out, and just giving up. It keeps you going on. It keeps that fire going. And indeed, in that fire, we're gonna remember that, brothers and sisters.
Absolutely,
we're gonna win. So,
absolutely.
So read though and pay attention to the leadership who believes, in that fundamental fact that we're gonna win, brothers and sisters.
Absolutely, and we have to make that commitment short term and long term. Those who understand the seriousness of the work, they are committed long term. Those who don't understand it, they are committed short term. And I think that everybody should do what they can for the time that they can do it. But we need to understand that politics is in everything, and politics is very important. It's crucial to life, right? From the quality of water we have to the quality of air we breathe, and we have to take that very seriously, because some of us have loved ones that we want them to be safe at all times, and we have to ask ourselves, how do we make sure that they're going to be safe? What are we doing? What are we participating in? Because we have to be a part of organized action, right? And dealing with mental health issues, what are you doing in your community to deal with this? All right, you have to take the position that I'm going to bring about some change. I'm going to produce resources. I'm going to organize my community so we can get those resources, make sure that they're accessible, right? There's community centers in a number of our communities. They should be utilized to address mental health issues. And that's one thing that's I love about being in Queensbridge, is the fact that, we have access to that community center, Jacob Reese Community Center, and there we're able to discuss our issues. We're able to deal with the issue of mental health. We're able to utilize people like Veronza Bowers and his outlook on mental health, and giving us his experience is when he had to deal with the loss of a loved one. How did he deal with that? And sharing his experiences, and his experiences but might be similar to ours. So we are able to have a model on how you deal with those particular situations. And I guess when you talk about a model, and you're talking about political prisoners, and you're talking about the Black Panther Party, the Black Liberation Army, you're talking about our doctors, right? Our advocates, right? Because they were dealing with the issue of oppression, exploitation, and what needed to be done. And they understand that the problem was systemic, and the system had to be challenged, right? Because unless you do that, then you're not actually going to eradicate the problem. And I think that is very important that people understand that. Just imagine how many people are their mental health issues is going to be compromised because of the issue in Palestine. It's just not the 1600s, it's 2024, and we're witnessing ethnic cleansing happen and taking place. And there's people in different places thinking that their participation is meaningless, that they could just go about their regular daily routines like everything, not knowing that, gentrification is ethnic cleansing, and that's taking place in their very in front of their very eyes. And unless they do something about that, then what they used to be able to call home is no longer going to be home. And I think that's what's very important about what's going on in Palestine. Mm-hmm. And when we deal with mental health issues, we have to take the challenge of dealing with social ills and telling ourselves, how is that going to affect me? And can I afford to ignore it? Because ignoring a problem allows the problem to continue. And if the problem continues, then more people are going to be affected, and now more lives are going to be compromised. I know when I listened to Veronza Bowers' album, I listened to it a number of times on different occasions. I immediately became relaxed. I went into the idea of what was he thinking when he made this particular song, and what was he hoping to accomplish. And I thought to myself, I said, wow, he was really genuine when he made that album. And he understood that he had to give something to people. And that's what he was about, and that's what he continues to be about, serving the people. And that was the Black Panthers' objective, to serve the people. And the best way to serve the people is make sure that they are empowered, make sure that they have access and control over the resources in their community. And if those resources are not available, then challenge those people who are supposed to make sure that they're available. So what's your thoughts on the Black Panther Party and them dealing with making sure community was advocated for, and how did their work providing free breakfast programs, having a Black Panther Party newspaper, and a number of programs, what effect did they have on the people's mental health?
They understood a need, in the height of oppression, in the darkest hours when the people, people were suffering from the lack of food, from poverty, from Black people committing acts of violence against one another. They understood the need, they understood the issues, and they responded to the issues in a very, very powerful way. You understand? Putting the ideas of people like Brother Malcolm into effect in the world, you know, and this had a far-reaching effect upon our people, you know, people acquiring that type of spirit, you know, just like when you drink something that has spirit in it, like a soda, you feel like that, you feel that spirit inside of it, you understand? This affected the spirit of the people, and it grew, you know, self-development, you know. You're talking about politics, area politics, you understand? Which relates to who rules, who makes the decisions that come into reality, you know, in the world, you know. That's political. So we have a political situation, you know, and we have political prisoners who dealt with that political situation, you know, and we're living in a very, very meaningful time right now. You mentioned Palestine. One thing Palestine shows is that we live under the governance of a people who will fund and give weapons to a regime that knowingly murdered 40,000 innocent civilians, you know, and a great percentage of those were babies, you know. This is a regime we live under, you know. So live under this regime, a bloodthirsty, you understand, a subhuman, inhuman regime like this, which cares nothing about life, who cares nothing about anything but their own self-aggrandizement, you know, their own self-enrichment, you know, and will produce genocide, you know, and apartheid to do this. You know, so we must be very, very well equipped. We must have very, very strong spirit. We must develop our spirit to be like steel, to be, you know, we must have power in the people. And it is through, you know, that process is aided, you know, by people, by Brother Veronza, you know, by Brother France Fanon, you know, who give us these insights, you know, that tell us exactly what is necessary, you know, to precisely fit what's happening, you know, in our world today. Veronza, a brother who was convicted on the word of two lying witnesses. One that said, one he knew that said that he was with Veronza at the act of a murder. The other one, who the one didn't know Veronza at all. The other, someone who he was acquainted with, you know, said that Veronza had told him that he committed that. Both of these are lies. So, you know, you can imagine being in jail 47 years.
Ignore the problem. Don't allow the problem to be passed on to another generation. If you're a writer, write. If you're an artist, draw a picture, design a T-shirt, go somewhere and make a mural on political prisoners. But it's always something that you can do, and it's always appreciated, because once the idea becomes populated, or popular amongst a number of people, then you know it continues to grow, and other people start to understand what's happening, and their consciousness is being raised. Just like what's going on in Palestine, right? You have a number of people doing something, then in another place, other people emulate that, and then it carries on. And now the issue is something that has to be taken serious by those who are supposed to make the decisions on the behalf of people. If you're talking about it's the democracy, and there's a large number of people raising the issue, how can you ignore that, claiming to be democratic? And I think that, once that contradiction is heightened, then the system itself is questioned, and people start to ask themselves, why am I tolerating that, and do I have to tolerate that? And that allows them to become educated, to search for answers that really make sense, and from that they decide that what they're going to do, and they start to understand that if they don't do something, who will? Right? And that's regardless of what your position is in life. If you're a religious person, at some point, you're going to have to look in your religious doctrines and ask yourself, what is it saying regarding social issues, political affairs, political matters? Can I really be neutral? And is it if I'm being neutral, am I really being non-political? Because actually you are taking a political position. You are taking a political position of being in compliance with the conditions. It's like you co-signing a particular action being done to people, and people like you. And I think that that has to be evaluated seriously. That has to be taken seriously, and people need to understand that their family and their children, right? Their children want answers from them, and they're looking to them for those answers. And I think none of us can afford to ignore the questions that our children raise, because what it does is put our credibility on the line. And I think that, Veronza Bowers, for him to be the man he is after all these years being denied parole and finally coming home, and while he was incarcerated, he committed himself to techniques that were dealing with mental health issues. I think that says a lot about him. And that says a lot about the quality of people that the Black Panther Party and the Black Liberation Army produced. They were top-notch quality men and women. And, we salute them. Black Power salute to them and their work that they've done. And we show solidarity with them by doing the work, by organizing around reparation, by organizing around the killings in the Black community, by organizing around the sanctions on Zimbabwe and the blockade on Cuba. These are very important and serious issues that people need to organize around. And I think that, when you make a commitment to do that work, you are expressing your respect to those who came before you and who did that work. And what it does when you're involved in this work, it actually strengthens your mental health. It allows you know that you have identified the problem and you have identified a solution. And that solution is going to eradicate that problem, right? And of course, certain solutions, it's a process in which it takes place. But as you go through that process, you only become stronger. By every obstacle, every battle that you engage in, you come out of that with more experience. You come out of that, your focus is more sharpened, and you decide that, now you know what to do. Now you're going to make a commitment to doing that. So brothers and sisters who are political prisoners, like people like Reverend Joy Powell, people like Veronza Bowers, Imam Jamil Al-Amin, and so many others, we salute them, Kamal Siddiqui, and we understand that, their sacrifices are sacrifices that don't affect just them, but their family. And, beyond their biological family, there's their political family, which is us. And we all are affected because we miss them and we love them. And that love is expressed in our passion and our time that we commit ourselves to organizing for their release. So as we come to a close on this particular episode, we ask that you please share, please work with us and donate $1, donate $5, Cash App, that's $ Sefusankofa, Sefusankofa. Let us know what you want done with the contribution that you're giving. Go to Veronza Bowers' GoFundMe page. He's home now, and he's going to need some financial assistance. So this is the victory for us. Political prisoners do not have to die in prison, but it's all determined by how well and how seriously we organize. So, brother, what's your closing words?
Yes, you mentioned that we have to deal with the reality. So one of the fundamental aspects of mental illness is a departure from the reality. And while it might not be seen, by clinicians as mental disorders, but we think of being in a state of hopelessness. Ain't nothing we can do. That this enemy is all powerful. He's God. All these are forms of mental disorders. And we got to get up. And deal with the reality that this enemy can be defeated. America ain't won a war since God knows when. So all over the world, they're being discredited, by what's happening right now in Palestine, and what's happening, also shows that America, is an enemy to Islam, and that the Muslims must understand that they have a great, very, very great weapon, which we call dawah, which means the spread of Islam. So understanding that the war is against us, we must pick up this weapon, and it's an act of war, to spread this deen, to those people who are friendly, to spread it in a friendly way, and the far right-wing people, you understand, they drop it on them like atomic bombs, you understand, and to have the confidence in our heart that indeed, the march of history goes forward, and we're going to win, and great powerful aspect of this war against the enemy is the struggle to free our political prisoners, to bring this spirit home to our people, the spirit of winning, the spirit of developing the full extent of our humanity, and spread that, like a living stream, through the masses of our people, and to spread this love, and the peace and the joy and the wonder of our humanity, and to spread Black power, to feel the power in our beings, and the results that this power is going to bring, and fundamental to bringing about this success is freeing our political prisoners. So we say, what's the call? Free them all. Hmm.